Hello, and welcome to the Doing the Most podcast. I'm Shannon Fairweather, and I am your host. Today, I am here with my new friend, personal trainer, health enthusiast, and overall badass, Margaret Cresta, aka So Vigor. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you here. As we were just talking about, this is the 10th episode of the Doing the Most podcast.
Ooh.
It is also my birthday weekend, and Margaret was so kind to bring me balloons and sunflowers, which are my favorite flowers by far. So we're off to a good start, I'd say.
Oh, yes.
We have some classy azul here. We're winning.
This is going to be a great night. I'm just so excited.
We're winning for sure. So let's just get right into it. You're all about health. You're all about fitness. Where did this journey start for you?
Ooh, so it's to go far back. I think what really got me into working out is when I was in growing up, I was always very active and I always had like a bit of muscle on me. But when I got into college, that's when things started to change, and I think that's like with the stress of school, with just like starting new. Also, I was diagnosed with ADD or ADHD.
Really?
So they prescribed me Adderall, not to get right into it, but
no, let's do it full send. We're doing the most. That's what it's all about.
And it made me like lose my appetite, and I just had a lot of struggles with it. Like it really helped me get focused and do my homework, but it had a lot of cons for me, and weight loss was one. I wasn't trying to lose weight, but I just was, and a lot of people would, comment like, Margaret, you're so skinny, like eat a cheeseburger, like is everything okay? And those comments obviously like affected me because I was like the same old me, other than I was struggling with, losing some weight, and also if anyone knows what Adderall is like, if you're prescribed it, there's a lot that comes with it that I didn't realize was happening. I became like a different person. Like I was like not very social anymore. Couldn't laugh at a joke. It just like started to like give me things I never had. Like I was never an anxious person. I started to become anxious. So I just think with those comments and like me kind of going through my own internal battle was like a hard place for me. So I started to like try to exercise and try to work out and put on muscle because I wanted to be strong and not like feel skinny and weak, because that's kind of like how I felt when people were saying those comments. And so that's like how it started. That's where the very long journey started because it took me a while to like actually put on muscle or know what the heck I was doing.
I love that, and I can even relate to that because when I was a sophomore in college, I actually struggled a lot with just eating and my body image in general. I would eat probably 600 to 800 calories a day. I did a lot of cardio. I was just not working out the way I wanted to, but I was losing weight, so I was like happy with that. And I was actually prescribed Prozac for my anxiety. And it wasn't until I actually traveled and moved abroad that I was able to get off that Prozac. And now, like, just reflecting on all of that, I really realized like why I was taking the kind of health actions that I was, the non-health actions that I was. Are you, if you don't mind me asking, are you off Adderall now?
Yeah, for a very long time.
So would you say the fitness kind of pulled you out of that? What was the turning point where you got off the Adderall?
So I got to the point where it did help me a lot for sure, but I would start taking it on days like I wasn't going to see people. Like if I was going to see someone, I wasn't going to take the medication. Right. So like if I was even going to work or going to school when you're supposed to take it, I wouldn't take it because like I couldn't like laugh with my friends. Like I was just like this uptight person. I was not ever that. I'm very lighthearted, funny, like fun. And it just like it changed me. So I would only do it if I was like doing homework. And so I started to like take it here and there when I was out of college, but it was never consistent. And then I got to the point where I was like, I'm not going to take it. Because like even when I met my boyfriend's parents for like the first time, I remember I took it that week and I like felt like so, like just to meet his parents, like I felt so, like I felt it in me. There's like this part that like lasts even if you've taken it like a few days away. And so that was around, we've been together for like almost 5 years, actually 5 years. So it's been, it's just crazy to think about like 5 years.
That is crazy, and I love that story because I really like how you found your own way. You know, something wasn't working for you, and you were like, I'm going to fix this myself. You were on the Adderall, and obviously having these issues with ADD, and you turned her to fitness. So what did you get out of fitness that you feel kind of helped you with the ADD?
I think, like, one, I could have control in some senses. Like, it felt good to know if you put in work, like, you can have a result.
Right.
Like, there was something about it that I liked. I don't know if it was like a direct correlation, but maybe looking back there is. But it was more or less like a place I felt good in. And it also, like, even if I didn't get any like stronger or any more muscular, my body didn't change, knowing like I was actively trying right there made me feel better. And also, like, even like knowing like I had ADD, like right there made me feel better. Like, I didn't feel like I needed medication at all. Like, some people get really like, I need it to do everything. Like, I never felt that way. I just knew like I needed to focus on like you know, I have these things that are kind of difficult for me, like with ADD, let me find ways to be better. And so nutrition is huge when it comes to ADD, like just having proper nutrition. So that helped. And then also, you know, exercising. Those are two really things that help people that have it. And it helped me a lot. And of course, I still struggle with it. I mean, medication's very strong and very helpful, but I find that I don't need it to be successful.
I love that. That is honestly so inspiring. Thank you for kicking off this podcast with talking about that.
Yeah.
I am sure a lot of people who listen to this can relate to that. And it's a sign of hope as well, because I think there's nothing more powerful than regaining your control. As someone who had anxiety, I, had a really poor relationship with food, which I love food. And I also had a really poor relationship with exercising. So once I was kind of able to regain control, and essentially I shook the snow globe, I traveled, and I was kind of like, wow, like, this is the world. Like, I'm so big but so small, and the possibilities are so endless. That kind of broke me out of my anxiety. I was really able to then get into a much healthier routine with exercising. And something that I love about exercising, and there's a lot of studies on this, is how it does affect the brain.
Yeah. From
the endorphins to the way it calms you down, but also helps you focus. So exercising is a natural it can help with so many different things, from anxiety to ADD. So I just think that the route you took it's so inspiring. And do you feel like that was your intention going into it, or do you feel like you started working out and you're like, wow, like, I am just improving and growing so much from this?
Yeah, it wasn't. My intention was to put on like muscle.
Right.
But like, I didn't know what it could give me.
Exactly.
It like became something totally different. I mean, now like it's a huge part of my life. You know, back then it was just like, let me go to the gym here and there, you know. So yeah, it's crazy when you're consistent, again, with anything in life. If you're consistent with exercise, like proper nutrition, it can make such a difference in with how you feel and how you can think and how you can perform. Like, I was actually just working out yesterday, and I've been kind of inconsistent with working out just because it's how life is. And I worked out and I just felt like strong, and in a way I haven't felt in a long time. And I was like, wow, like, this is why, like, I need to be doing this, like, again, every single day. Because sometimes, like, this past, like, week or two, I kind of skipped a bunch. And, you know, when I had a really good session, I was focused. It's a good point. I didn't even think of that, but it's so true. You're, like, in the zone. And, like, I just felt really strong and felt really good. It feels like you have control when you're strong.
What time of the day do you usually work out? Or does it vary?
It does, but I try to do it first thing in the morning, because if I don't, it's really hard to get it done at all. Like, I'm not really someone that would want to do it at, like, late at night. So I typically try to do it the first thing in the morning. That way it is done and I can get on with my day. But I do film a lot with my boyfriend, so we'll, like, shoot content around, like, sunset. So we'll, like, work out, but they're very, like, short, like, quick workouts. Right. A lot of it's, like, for content creation. And we do that usually, like, every Thursday, as long as it's nice out, or a couple times a week. And so, or sunrise. Like, we worked out today during sunrise. Amazing. Like, right before it gets very hot, we're out there. So that's fun. I
love the sunrise. The morning, specifically with the sunrise, is such a special time of the day. You probably haven't read this book, but the 5 a.m. Club.
I need to read it,
I'm going to have to send it to you, because I have sent it to a couple different people, and it has changed my life. Ooh. And you really just gain this awareness of the magic of 5 a.m., specifically like with the sunrise. There's just a different energy to it. But also, specifically when you talk about working out in the morning, when you first wake up, the cortisol levels in your body are the highest. So cortisol can lead to anxiety and some stress, and that's why, one, if you wake up and you do something like check your phone or like turn on the news and kind of just gain all these stimuli, like that's gonna make your brain go like, whoa.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of gearing it in a certain direction, because it's a very powerful thing, the cortisol levels in your body at that time. But if you wake up and you exercise, you get the dopamine. It helps kind of take that cortisol and push it into a more, let me conquer this day mindset.
Yeah. So true.
So I work out every now and then, like in the middle of the day, have it be 3 or 4, and I love that little extra burst of energy. But some days I'll wake up and just go on like the elliptical for 10 minutes. It's like super hardcore, like high intensity and sweat. Mm-hmm, so I think the power of sweating first thing in the morning, anyone who's struggling mentally, if you're not sweating first thing in the morning, I'd say that's a great first step in terms of just changing the chemicals in your brain.
And getting to the point where you can sweat is like a game changer. It's almost like when you break a sweat, there's a different feeling that happens where it's an endorphin for one, but it's like almost like you're a different person. I don't know how to explain it, but if you work out, you probably know what I mean. Like, it just gets to this point of like, oh my gosh, and it feels so good. And it's like you have to get to the point where you break a sweat. Oh,
absolutely. And it is a lot of the chemicals going off in your body, but also when you look in the mirror and the sweat's dripping down your face, you're like, I am a badass. That has a mental effect. And something that's been helping me too, and I don't know if you ever do this, but I've been like looking at myself in the mirror when I work out, and I'm sweating. I'm like, oh, like this is making me so strong. So that kind of that mind-body connection has been so cool for me too, because then I leave after and I feel so fulfilled and I feel so accomplished. Mm-hmm. So my mindset at the gym and what I'm thinking while I'm there has played a big role for me, because sometimes I'd be at the gym like, oh, this kind of sucks, like I'm not even going hard enough, and I'd leave and I'd be like kind of hard on myself as if I didn't go hard enough. And I actually used to work out and I would run like 6 miles. I'd run for like a full hour, if not more, just because I thought that's what I needed. Oh, I need to burn 800 calories at the gym. But now I'm so much more, I do like 10, 15 minutes of cardio and then just weights for the most part. What is your kind of routine for exercising on like a week-to-week basis?
Yeah, so my thoughts on exercise has changed so much like throughout my own journey. I was the same way. I always felt like I had to like have the best workout for it to be worth it. Now I just really see exercise as movement. You know, like as long as you're moving, and I try to do like at least 30 minutes. That's, you know, I used to go for like an hour and a half. Mm-hmm. Like now it's like 30 minutes at least. If I do more, that's great. But that's really how I see it. I think just moving is the biggest thing. But in terms of like workouts, it's different right now, and I don't know how long I'll keep this, but I've been doing like a lot of full body days, but they're like with like a barbell. So like I'll be training like my glutes, which I'm trying to grow. So I'll train that a couple times a week, but only like one exercise that is focused on the glutes, but that way I can do it more frequently, and they're like heavier lifts. So like a couple, like maybe 3 times a week, and then I'll do like more full body days. Where before I would do like 2 upper body days, 2 lower body days, 1 full body day. That was always my routine. Mm-hmm. But I've been experimenting outside of that, and it's cool. It feels nice. It's like a refresh, restart. But also even this summer, I've been a lot more lenient, and I've been like working out outside with my dumbbells and just having fun with it. So that's been enjoyable. But once the weather gets cold, I'll probably be back inside all the time, and that'll kind of be sad. But right now it's really nice to like just be outside and do like lightweight stuff and enjoy movement versus like that PR.
You bring up so many great points. First thing I want to touch on is you talk about kind of just listening to your body and kind of resembling that around the goals you have. So something that's been so freeing for me when it comes to the gym is taking the mindset similar to like what you just said. I'll go for 30 minutes a day, and if I do more, great. But if you just kind of let yourself go in there and be like, I'm going to commit to this small amount of time and feel good about what I get done here, and if I do more, that's awesome. But then also kind of just going in, and instead of being like, okay, today's leg day, today's arm day, like, oh, I had leg day yesterday, so today I have to do arms. Kind of listening to what part of your body part, like when you think about it, is like, oh yeah, like that sounds great. Like leg day today, some heavy squats sounds awesome. Versus like, oh, like, or do I want to do some arms today? And you're kind of like, oh, my arm's kind of tired today for some reason. And just kind of listening to that, because I feel like your body responds to it better as well, because it's like, yeah, like, let's do this. I feel strong. I want to grow these different muscles. So I think just listening to your body in terms of what you want to do in terms of length, but then also what exercise you're doing as well, I think has been so freeing for me.
Absolutely.
It's helped with my consistency a lot.
Because you make it more fun that way instead of like being so like rigid with your routine. And like again, like to get certain goals and yes, like having like a structure is going to be helpful, but I think it's like the mindset around exercise is like just enjoy it, just move. That's healthy.
Just move, exactly. And I was being a little hard on myself like a couple weeks ago because I went away for 2 weeks and then I got back and I was trying to work out a little bit when I was away. I tried to go to the gym like every other day, but I didn't go very long. And then I got back and then like I had all these things going on. I was catching up too. And I kind of just took like, I think it was like 5 or 6 days off. And I was like, oh, like this is kind of difficult. But like it's the summer. It's the summer. You're going to eat more. You're going to drink more. You're not going to work out as much as you can. And winter will come and there'll be nothing to do other than work and exercise and maybe like shove ourselves into a little bar every now and then. But
seriously,
enjoying the outdoors and kind of just recognizing the moment you're in and the time you're in. It just brings a lot of gratitude for just, what you actually have going on right now. So I think being kind to yourself and recognizing where you're at. If you're not going to the gym, like it's happening for a reason. You need that rest. You need that mental break in a sense. So when it comes to summer, I think it's very natural to not
it's the truth. It's not like the one thing I want to do like inside with like the heavy weight. Like I enjoy going outside and stuff, but you have to allow yourself to have those times. And then like I'm actually at the point now where I'm like excited to like work out again and like eat like more clean because I've ate out like all summer. I've been like, drinking a lot, like I've been eating a lot. So like I'm actually like the fall in the air kind of gets you like motivated. Like I'm not going back to school, but I feel like I am, with that mentality.
Oh my God, you are legit speaking my language right now. I've been talking about this kind of energy that is the end of August, beginning of September. It's just the sense of change.
Yes.
And it's the sense of growth and it's the sense of new beginnings. And I think the summer is such a wonderful time because we hang out with our friends and our families a bit more and there's vacations and you're outside. We kind of seize that moment that like, now I'm excited to just crush it. I'm just excited to wake up and work out and get my stuff done and eat really well because that feels super, super good.
It does.
So when it comes to legit anything I have found, even like relationships, seeing certain people, certain friends, significant others, like having that time apart like makes the heart grow fonder, And that's true to when it comes to traveling, going out, and exercise.
Absolutely.
And crushing it. And you brought up another interesting point. You were talking about how just movement has been key.
Yeah.
And that's been very liberating for me because I've been through, and I've talked about this a couple times on the podcast, I've been through a couple different just intense phases where I'm like, I am a spin person. I go to either Soul Cycle or Vital Cycle 5 times a week. No matter what, I'm doing this. And I did spin for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And then after that, I've been doing Orange Theory. Do you know what Orange Theory is?
Yeah.
I did Orange Theory for like 2 years, maybe a little bit more. I was just very dedicated. I would go with my mom, like really was into it. I really enjoyed like the full body workout aspect of it. But now that I look at it, I still think like that's even too much cardio, honestly, because I'm just working out in the gym, which I totally prefer now because the freedom is just so much more there. But what I've been doing the past few weeks, which I really enjoy, is I'll wake up some days, I'll go down to the gym and I'll have a great workout. Other days, I'll wake up and I'll go to hot yoga.
Ooh.
Which has been, oh my fucking God, like,
I love it.
Incredible. And then other days, like, I'll walk around the city. Or, like, me and my boyfriend, sometimes we like to ride bikes and he skateboards. So maybe I'll, like, jog by his skateboard and, like, just moving.
Yeah.
Just moving. And in a way that feels fresh and exciting to the body has been so freeing for me and so much more enjoyable. So much more enjoyable. So I definitely think it's important to enjoy your workout. If you're not, like, it should hurt, but a good hurt. And it should make you feel, like, excited in a sense. Like, I'm excited to do this. Like, sometimes I'll not have worked out my arms. I'm excited for at least push-ups and everything because it makes me feel strong. And it feels like I'm growing something that, needs some love. So exercise, obviously, incredibly important. But you also brought up the point of nutrition in terms of helping you with your ADD as well. So what's been your nutrition journey in a sense? Because I've seen some of your content. You know how to make some Firecraft tequila cocktails, but I also know you are a clean eater as well. So what's been the nutrition journey for you?
Yeah, so I focus on eating, for the most part, pretty well. If that's cooked food, right now I'm actually doing Nutri Meals, which is actually out of this area. But it's like just non-processed foods, clean. I would say the biggest change for me was like increasing my protein intake.
Mm-hmm.
That's what made me become stronger, grow muscle, feel good. Most people are deficient in protein or just don't get enough. So that was like my biggest thing. But also just like vegetables, fruits, like just the basic stuff. You know, it's the stuff that like there's really no secret to. It's just like whole foods, like minimally processed. That's like the best. And also like having like if you're someone that likes salmon, like eating salmon, if not taking like a fish oil, those things really help me as well. Just because the omega-3s, it actually the one that I take, it says it right on the bottle, it actually helps with like ADD, ADHD, and I'm like, oh my God. Like,
that's amazing.
Every time I don't take it, I'm like, I have to take this. Like, I need this. Because I'm not even consistent with like a fatty fish every like couple days, you know?
Yeah.
So like that's the supplement that helps me.
Our body truly is like the food pyramid. Like we truly need like these certain things, and obviously it's different per person, but something I've been really liking is just like testing different things. Like I was very into the high protein, low carb. I still kind of am in a sense. I'm not as strict with things. Like every time I go out, I'm eating the rolls on the table. Like there's no fucking doubt. I love pizza. I really love cauliflower pizza. So good carbs as well. I have like a lot of carrots and such. But when it comes to like the basic diet that you found has worked best for you, would you say it's just kind of like a little bit of like everything? Like are there certain rules you follow in a sense?
No, I don't. And it's funny because a lot of people that I meet or see me, they'll be like, oh, I can't believe you're eating that. And I'm like it's pizza or something. It's like, of course I do. But I think sometimes people see like personal trainers and they think that we're very, very strict. And there are those out there, but you don't have to be. And I've never been. So I enjoy a cocktail. I enjoy food out. And I have no question about it. I just eat it and enjoy it, you know. So no, I don't really follow any rules, to be honest with you at all.
I love that because I feel like once you create rules for yourself, specifically for your diet, if you do, which you will naturally, if you're not gonna, if you try not to have any desserts, or if you try not to have any carbs or any pizza or anything like that, eventually you're gonna crave the fuck out of it, and you're gonna eat it, and you're gonna feel like a piece of shit. And you're gonna really defeat yourself, and that emotion will literally do worse things to your body than just eating that food that one time. Yeah. Obviously, if you're eating pizza every single day, if you're eating processed foods every single day,
you're probably not going to feel good. So, like, for me, like, I don't want to eat those every day because I just don't feel good. But when I eat them, I love them. But for me, I feel the best when I'm, like, eating pretty clean for the most part. And then, on the weekend, we go out to eat and we order whatever. Yes. But that's where I feel the best. Like, if I don't have that routine, if I'm traveling too long or the summer, like, there's a part of me that doesn't feel like me anymore. And that's taken a while to happen, you know. Wasn't always like that, but now that's what works for me. That's what I feel good about. Like, I have like greens and reds every morning, but like for me, I'm like, okay, I like this. Like, I just feel good when I stick to that.
It feels so good to feel good, doesn't it? It's the best. It really is the best. And obviously, like, if you, like, a vacation is a great example because you're more likely to wake up and like maybe eat more carbs with some sugar than you expected, sugary drinks, desserts. So that like literally has so much effect on your energy. And as people who, you know, consistently have a healthy lifestyle, we're really used to feeling really good, right? So even if you're in a beautiful place and having a lot of fun, if your energy is worse than it usually is, it can impact how you feel in terms of happiness and energy, for sure. For sure. So you say you have a lot of greens and reds in the morning?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So it's basically, I don't like get enough like fruits and vegetables in my day. Like, I'm not perfect in terms of my nutrition. I could be so much better and I probably would feel so much better. But it's hard, you know, we're just busy and all that. So I have like a powdered greens and reds powder, and I just like mix it with like a froth mixer with water, and it just like, I feel like it revives me. I don't drink coffee. I'm very sensitive to caffeine, unfortunately. So
interesting.
That's like my coffee, you know, like that's my like morning coffee.
You have to check out the Altered States podcast that Daniel and I did, because we do a whole portion on caffeine. Caffeine's a drug. Caffeine's a drug, and a lot of people are addicted, and they don't realize it. And they're actually just feeding their fix now, and it's not even giving them the benefits that they need. There's all these studies. We have this elevator here in my apartment. It like just spits out random facts like on the screens, and one of them is like 3 cups of coffee a day could be good for you. It's like, I'm sure it's like the I think it's good for the brain, like dark chocolate and red wine in a sense, but like there's also realizing like what the caffeine's doing to like the rest of your body. So I find it interesting that you're not on caffeine, because that's actually probably a good thing in a sense. Like I love my coffee, but I've also been taking some days off of it. And just letting myself reset.
Yeah, so like coffee is such an interesting thing. Like I used to drink it, and I was working in a hotel in Boston at the Riviera Hotel, and so I had to get up really early, and I did see all the sunrises every morning. It was really special. But I started increasing my coffee intake, and I was getting migraines, like really bad migraines, where like I would have to lay in bed. I would miss a whole day. It was bad. And so I read a book, and it was by this doctor, and it basically talked about triggers. And one of the triggers that, you know, if you're not getting enough sleep, for example, and then you drink coffee, and if you're sensitive to it, like that could cause a migraine. Right. Same with chocolate. So for me, I was like, okay, well, I drink a lot of coffee now. So I stopped drinking coffee, and my migraines like pretty much went away. And then I tried to introduce it back, and it's really hard. It's not worth the risk for me. So I just stopped it completely. And now I'll get them every once in a while, but I was getting them like every day or at least once a week. And that impacts your life.
Lot. Oh, absolutely.
Like, I couldn't leave the bed. It was really bad. Because you get dizzy, nauseous. Everything is so sensitive.
Every time the body is giving you an alarm, right? A headache, a stomach ache, you're sick, something's wrong, even like down to like breakouts, or like if your hair's falling out, which like it can attribute to stress. That's your body giving you an alert that like something's not right. So I think it's so important that if you consistently have any sort of health issue, you have it be headaches, anything, it's important to be like, all right, like, something's not right here, because this body is supposed to function for me and with me. And if you're not working in alignment with that, that's when you're going to come into problems. Like I have some friends who are just so obviously sensitive to milk and dairy, right? And we'll still eat it and be like, oh, like I have stomachache, I feel off. I'm like, that's not for your body. Your body does not want that. The tolerance isn't there for it. So just being the awareness of, I have a headache every day, this isn't right, and make a change, do some research. I think that's so key, and it's been very eye-opening for me too, to one, eat foods that make me feel really good and notice what's making me feel good, but then also realize like what's not making me feel very good.
It's interesting because a lot of people look outside of what they put inside their body. Like a lot of people I talk to like, oh, I think it's this and that, and it's like, well, what did you eat? Like, what did you know, like it's a lot of times people don't think of what they put in their body. Like, of course it's going to make you feel a certain way, but a lot of times people look outside of it. It's interesting.
I was reading a book legit yesterday, and I read this quote. It was like, you should be as careful with the people you surround yourself with as you are with the food you eat. So like those two things, like who you're surrounding yourself with and what you're eating, have such an impact on the mind, body, soul. 1,000,000%.
It's everything. Like, of course. Like, it's crazy to think it couldn't, but it's like one of those things that I think sometimes we just don't like sit down and think about that thought, and it's like makes such a difference.
Oh, it's everything. I love the quote, you are a combination of the books you read and the people you surround yourself with, but you also are what you eat. Like those three things, it's so important. And like you were saying, a lot of people do look outward. They can blame so many things, have it be the state of the world or stress other people are putting on them or their jobs or the weather, anything. Look within. What's going on within? Like, how can you be there for you? And that has been so empowering for me. But something I want to touch on, because you said you increased your protein, you felt really, really good. And I'm going to say something, and it could sound so stupid because I heard it on TikTok, but I was watching this yesterday, and mind you, huge. I love red meat. I love grass-fed steak. I love fish. I love chicken. I have a decent amount of protein in my diet for sure. And I have a question with you, but I'll say this first. So I was on TikTok, and this kid was talking about how you shouldn't eat meat because it's dead energy.
It's an interesting thing. You can see it that way. I mean, so so in my nutrition course, there was this line that I'm like, wow. And it says, like, energy isn't created or destroyed, it's transferred. So if you think about it, like, anything we eat, like, it's a transfer of energy. So if something's dead, I guess he has a point. I mean, not to get crazy on it, but, like, yeah, everything.
It's interesting, isn't it? But I also, on the other hand, I feel like you could say, all right, eating meat is dead, but the muscles required energy. So like the muscles and the meat that like we're eating, is that that's energy in a sense, because it's like muscles are what you use for energy.
Well, it counts as protein. So like it definitely will, your body's using it for energy, but maybe the quality of energy, like, you know, even in my nutrition course, I did talk a lot about, you know, how those animals were, like, were they in cages, were they stressed, because that quality does actually make a difference of how you consume it. So like, you know, yeah, I think so. Like, I wouldn't want to have like a, you know, chickens sometimes are like in cages and all that. Like, I don't want to eat like that kind of chicken, because they're stressed, they're unhappy, they're getting shit on, you know? So yeah, I agree with that.
And it also comes down a lot to, and do you have a background in nutrition as well? You say some of your nutrition books.
Yeah.
I figured, so that's awesome. I have done a decent amount of research and just listening to Dave Asprey. I'm not sure if you're hip to who he is. He's Bulletproof Coffee.
Oh, okay.
He's big on keto. He has his own farm. He's pretty cool. He's just a big health and wellness guy in terms of diet specifically and coffee specifically. But he's huge on eating food from animals that have eaten decent food. Yeah. So like grass-fed steak, right?
Absolutely.
I love grass-fed steak, and I feel really good when I eat grass-fed steak, versus if you're eating something which, one, was stressed, which will also cause issues, but two, eating things like who knows what, honestly. Like, you really have to be so careful nowadays, because if you're eating this meat and it lived a shit life, what do you think that's going to make you feel like? What do you think that's going to make you feel like? Shit, exactly. So just kind of being aware of that. I think protein, because I've had this conversation with my boyfriend a couple times. I'm like, should I go vegan? Would I try? Like, I had signs like try to go vegan. I just never do it. I just never do it because I love meat. One, I love eating it. It tastes phenomenal. But two, I really like what it makes me feel in terms of energy.
Yeah, so I went vegan for like 30 days just as like a challenge for my own self.
This is perfect then.
Yeah, and I would love to be completely plant-based.
Would you?
I would. Absolutely. It's just a bit challenging, not impossible, because there's plenty of protein sources out there. So I don't want the vegans to come at me. There are plenty, but it is a little more challenging to get the amount that someone like me that works out a ton, that does have like certain fitness, aesthetic kind of goals. So yes, absolutely. But yeah, like you can get it in chickpeas, tofu. There's plenty of ways to get like a good amount of protein in, and it's definitely possible. So yeah, I would. I mean, I'm not a huge meat person, to be honest with you. Like, I eat a lot of chicken because it's like easy. It's almost like vodka. Like you can mix it with anything, it's gonna taste fine. Exactly. So I'll eat a lot of that, but I mean, I would love to not eat it, to be honest with you.
Really?
Oh yeah. It just would have to be more strategic. I don't know. I just like...
You do, though. What? Like, is it an energy thing? Is it... Because what I was just talking about, how eating animals is eating dead energy, like, just straight up because it's a dead animal, versus if you're eating a plant, it's alive. If you're eating fruits and vegetables, they're alive. So the thought process behind that is you're eating alive energy versus dead energy.
Well, even, like... this is a little off topic, but even with flowers... But so we'll talk about this like later, but the sunflowers I gave you, I started like my first business was Secret Sunflower, and basically it's all about planting happiness. A sunflower symbolizes happiness. So we like sold seeds and all this, but so when I was growing sunflowers, it was really sad because it would grow and it'd bloom and it's beautiful, and then it would die. And I'm like, wow, like already? Like why did you just die? And that's kind of like what they're meant for. Like they're meant like, and so I would feel bad when people would cut them and sell them. Like I'd be like, well, like let it grow, but it's not meant for that. It's just, it has its life cycle, and so that's why I feel better eating plants. To be honest with you, because it's like meant for you to
exactly. No, and there's also that moral side of things, of course, which we don't need to get into because I'll cry, because I cry all the time because I just love animals so much. But
same.
Fuck, should I just go vegan and plant based? Should I try it?
I mean,
Should we do it together?
I would do it. It just has to be strategic.
Yes.
Because the only thing, yes, I would absolutely do it.
Yeah.
The 30 days that I did, I was working in the hotel. And since I was so busy, I need some water.
Prep.
since I was so busy, it was really hard for me to get like quick, fast food, you know, unless it was like bread, you know. And so I just did a bad job planning.
Exactly.
So as long as I can like sit down and think, okay, what meals am I having for the week, and plan them out, and you know, for me again, protein is really important. Make sure I have enough of that. Then I would do it 100%. I wouldn't miss it. I really wouldn't.
I don't think I would either. And you say you went plant-based, no meat for 30 days. How'd you feel?
I felt good, other than a little bit hungry, because like again, I was always like just on the go, and I'm like, damn it, I can't just like get a quick like wrap or something. I'm not like a veggie wrap person. Like I like other things. So, and I'm not a huge fan of like the mimic of food. Like sometimes they'll do like chicken fingers, but they're like vegan. Sometimes they're good, but I rather just like the whole foods of like plant-based foods. And you got to find what you like and stuff. But I actually like, in the beginning of my fitness journey, I was really into nutrition. Like, if you looked at my Instagram, you'd think I'm obsessed with working out. Yeah. But it was really nutrition. And so I did the TB12 meals. I think he did it with, like, purple carrot. And they sent the ingredients to you. I thought they were going to come prepped. And I'm like, I have to make this stuff. But it taught me how to cook. And they're all plant-based. So I have, like, you can borrow it. Like, I have a huge binder full of these recipes because I did it for, like, almost a year.
Did you like it?
I loved it.
So the TB12 meals were plant-based? Mm-hmm. Is he plant-based?
Mostly, yeah.
Really? Mm-hmm. He looks phenomenal.
I know. He looks,
he
looks very good.
Tom Brady looks like he just graduated from college. I see him and I'm like, oh my, he's like 52 or 53.
Have you seen the transformation of him from like back then
He's hotter
to now?
You're
like, whoa.
He's literally hotter now. I know men in their 40s and he looks so much better than them.
Oh, yeah.
So he's doing something right. And if it's plant-based, like, I believe it.
Yeah, majority plant-based. And I think people that call themselves plant-based, like, I think, like, you can, once in a blue moon, maybe you have, like, a burger or a steak or something. But, yeah, he's, like, that's why he did the collaboration with them. Like, he's, like, pretty much all plant-based.
That was plant-based. That's
But I think once in a while he'll have, like, a steak and stuff. But, like, for the most part.
I could see, like, once a month having a fat fillet. I love steak.
So I actually stopped eating red meat.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like a step, you know? Like, I'm like, I can step and do this. But I'm at the point where I'm not going to be the person where it's like, oh, I'm not eating that. Is that, like, beef in there? Like, I just don't want to be that personally. I'm a foodie. I love trying new things. So I'm okay with those scenarios. Like, I got sushi the other day, and they, like, brought out, like, a bunch of things for us to try, and one had, like, a little bit of beef around it. And I was like, but I tried it, you know? And I'm okay with that. So I think that's how I'll be, even if I go completely plant-based. Like, I think once in a while.
Me too.
You know, just to try
Because obviously, if you live to X amount and you feel so good and you are so healthy at 100 or whatever it is, but, like, you say no to, like, this homemade meatball from the North End. Like, that's not living. You know, that's not living in a sense. So I like that. It just comes down to, like, a yin and a yang in a sense. Like, have that little bit of treat yourself every now and then and when it calls you. But in terms of, like, the day-to-day, which I feel like we both like to just feel super good, I could see, like, plant-based being.
Yeah, I agree. I should, like, bring those recipes out again. Like, I kind of, like, tuck them away and I haven't really touched them since, but I will, and I'll share them with you. And maybe we can make some, like, recipes.
I think it'd be a good time to start it, too. Are you a spiritual person at all?
Very.
Oh, yes. Spirituality is the best. I'm so excited. So the reason why I saw that TikTok is because I don't go on TikTok a ton. I have, like I was telling you, I have a ton of drafted stuff. I'm about to start putting out a ton of content. But my favorite TikToks to watch, it's like #spirituality TikTok. And you just go through and you, like, get all these really cool perspectives. This is what I do when I can't sleep. Like, last night I was up to, like, 2 a.m. just, like, watching them. But the kid who was talking about not eating meat and how eating meat is essentially dead energy, it can make you less connected to your pineal gland and your third eye and your connection to other realms in a sense, because that energy's dead, so therefore your vibration is lowered. Now, I have no idea what the science is behind this. I am literally referencing probably a 21-year-old boy from TikTok, so I'm not a doctor by any means, but I see the point. You know what I mean?
So I haven't listened to him in a while, but Infinite Waters on YouTube. It's this guy. He's very like spiritual, and he's like very calming. But that was actually one of the reasons too why I actually was like experimenting with plant-based, because he said the same thing with the I can't say the word.
Pineal gland.
Yes, and how meat can like clog it up. And that's your third eye. Like, who doesn't want a third eye? So yeah, I think that's really cool, and
I believe it.
I want to like tap back into that for that reason too.
I'm getting really into spirituality right now.
So it's so crazy. I actually wanted, and I didn't make it happen, to try Reiki.
Reiki, yes.
I haven't tried it, but this friend that me and my boyfriend both have, he like is doing it, and he's very spiritual, and he's very cool and very successful, and he's just like an amazing person to be around. Like, you just enjoy his company, and he just wants everyone to do good. And he gave me her card, and then I actually ran into her at a place. He was there. He was like, "Oh, this is my Reiki teacher," however you say it. And she gave me the card. And again, and I'm like, I was going to do it before this podcast, but I'm like, I just like, I couldn't fit it in, but I wish I did, because then I could have talked to you about my experience.
Let's do it. I've never done it. I have a friend who does it. I would love to experience it.
I would
love to experience it. So we kind of talked about this before the podcast, but do you smoke weed, or are you just anti-edibles?
No, edibles have never really worked well with me. I'll do it here and there. So when I was younger, I loved it because it was very social and it was fun. But then I went through, and it probably was the Adderall, because when I was prescribed it, I wanted to smoke to make it kind of like die down.
Right.
So I then eventually started getting anxiety from it. So I kind of completely stopped. I'll dabble in it here and there now, but I'm more of the person, if I smoke, I want to be not social. Like, I want to be like working on like my computer, or like it's more like a focus for me.
So this is such a cool area to go into in the podcast, because we talked about exercise, fitness, and then we talked about diet, and now I think a really important pillar to overall health is spirituality. And you talk about that friend that you have that just you love to be around, and his energy is so amazing. Like, that's real. That stuff is so real, and I feel like the people who tap into this, it comes first by taking care of your body.
Yeah.
Through food and through fitness. But once you're like, oh, wow, I feel so good, and then you tap into the spirituality side of things, you're like, oh, my God, I can feel even better. And I've been really digging into just playing around with a little weed, but then also meditation.
Yes.
Love meditation.
So I've been so inconsistent with it, but I know the benefits of it, and like it's such a priority to me, and I don't make it happen, which is bizarre, but it's something that I feel like is so important, and like I need to like get back in my consistency, because I feel the best when I'm eating right, exercising, meditating, journaling, writing, just like you know,
in your shit. Being in your shit.
In every way.
Eating well, working out, moving the body, sweating, putting good fuel into your body, but then also creating this wonderful space that is your mind.
It feels amazing when you're there.
It's so powerful.
It's crazy, like, for me, like, it's so important, but, like, it's just, I don't know, sometimes I just feel like I don't focus on those things that are so important, but I know, like, I need to do that, because the greatest things that's happened in my life have been when I've been in that zone.
Oh, absolutely. And so many successful people, Jim Carrey, like Camille Kostek, like absolute superstars.
Yes.
They all relate it back to this.
And they're all very spiritual.
Yes.
Which is an interesting thing. Like, I shouldn't say every, but a lot of successful people are pretty spiritual.
Oh, absolutely. Either through kind of this universal kind of spirituality, or the church and Jesus kind of spirituality. Because like even Kanye West, who just came out with his album Donda, it's all about the church and Jesus. And obviously Kanye's an extreme example, but the more you look at it, the more it seems that obviously health overall, but spirituality and success go hand in hand.
100% agree with that.
And you and I were talking about manifesting as well.
Oh my gosh, it's everything. And it's like, again, it's like I need to manifest more. And I feel like I'm at a place where, like, I think it's just been the summer for me. I've been like all over, but it's like I'm so excited to like get back into like the routines that make me feel the best. And manifesting is everything. Like, even when I think back at when, like, on social media, for example, I was sharing so much stuff, and then I was just like in this great place mindset wise, just so present, reading the books that I loved, and just like reflecting. Like, that one post that I posted, it was similar to all the other posts, but it went like viral, and ever since then my account has grown. and it was like a faucet that never turned off. And I related back to, like, I was in such a good place, and it was like the peak of how great I was feeling, just because I was manifesting, and I just, it's everything.
So for those of you who don't know, Margaret has close to 170,000 followers on Instagram. You've built yourself quite the personal brand.
Yeah, it's been pretty cool.
It's so inspiring.
I was my growth was interesting. Like, I was pretty stagnant for a while, and then I had that one post where, again, I was in like such a great mindset, and it did really well, and it like took off. Like, I was growing like 10,000 a week at one point.
That's amazing.
It's not there now. Like, it kind of stopped, but it's so weird. Instagram is so weird. Like, all of a sudden you will grow a lot, and then it'll stop.
Yes.
But yeah, I had like a really interesting thing, and then COVID eventually did happen, and then a lot of people blew up on TikTok. I actually never got into TikTok because I thought it was going to get taken down.
Right.
And now I'm like, I actually was listening to your podcast, and
there's still time.
The people you bring on are like great on TikTok. I'm like, I need to share my stuff on TikTok.
Yes.
And I've been posting every day. I posted like 5 days in a row, and one of my posts did good. I'm like, okay, cool.
It's that consistency too, and it's the belief that it's going to happen. So if the goal is to go viral on TikTok, or even just on a larger sense, for people to love your content, right? Because if people love your content, they're going to share it. It's going to do well. If you put that out there, and we were talking about this earlier, manifesting isn't woo-woo. It's not just, let me just throw this paper plane into the universe and hope it happens. It's thinking about it in the sense that you believe it's going to happen. And once you believe it's going to happen, what then happens is your subconscious starts working on that idea. And it starts feeding you ideas on ways to make that happen in a very logistic way. And the reason why, and I'm not shocked by this at all, you say one of the posts did so well, when you were on top of your game with the manifesting and the intentions, it's because when you're in that state, you're more open to receive as well. You're more open to receive. Your energy is literally more open to receive from the universe just gifts and opportunities. And you're also aware of it.
And you are at like a higher vibration. When you're around people that are like a little bit negative, like you're at a lower vibration, but when you're around people that have great energy and excited and happy, and you're happy, like different things happen. Like, even if, I don't know, there are days where, I'm sure this happens to you, where like you maybe open the door for somebody, and then someone comes in, and then you say something nice, and then like someone bumps into you, and then you start talking to them, and then another person just approaches you, and it's like, oh my God, all these great things are happening. And it's just like, you're giving off this like great energy, and it's coming at you back.
And it's something that I never experienced when I was anxious and in college and on Prozac, ever.
Yeah.
Because I was in a low vibration. I was at a place that I honestly didn't really want to be at most of the time. I was surrounded by a lot of people who were stressed out. I was doing things that weren't making me happy. I wasn't eating right. I obviously wasn't meditating. So I wasn't happy. And it's so awesome, the power of happiness. The power of pure joy and love. I've been really tapping into that lately, into just everything I do. And I've been waking up every day. And again, like, I do this, I try to do it every day, but I was like home this morning, and it's okay to slack sometimes. It's recognizing it's okay.
Absolutely,
when it's like, if I'm sitting on the front porch with my whole family and like we're all having coffee, it's hard to journal and read in that moment, right?
Of course, yeah.
But for the most part, I've been waking up, I've been journaling, I've been reading, I've been journaling my gratitude and my intentions.
I love that.
And also, what would this be a fulfilling day? What would make this a fulfilling day as well? And just putting that out there, and I have felt so good, and like the days are just beautiful.
I have a gratitude journal too, and it's a really great way to start your day, because you are reminded of all the great things in your life, and like there's just a feeling that comes over you, and you're like, wow. You're like, oh fuck, I love my life so much. I love my life. I love life in general.
Same. Life is the best.
It is the best.
And everyone deserves to feel that way.
It's unbelievable, like, what life is and like what you can do with it if you want to.
It's
all
amazing.
If you want to.
I'm so happy I met you.
I'm so happy I met you.
I just love having conversations like this because they're important. They're important. The world is in a strange place right now. And I hate to say that because it's also a pretty dope place right now. The opportunities, like, with each disadvantage or with each seemingly disadvantage or adversity, there's an equal seed of advantage if you're willing to see it.
Absolutely.
And I say seed because you have to be able to notice it and help it grow. And obviously in the past few years, there's been a lot of adversity. there's been a lot of challenges, but with every challenge comes the opportunity to grow. And there's been a lot of hard things, and obviously things that I wish didn't happen, but I've gained a lot of perspective in the past year or so, a lot.
Perspective is everything. If you're able to be able to see things in different ways, you're just such a more in-depth person. Like you have so much more to offer. So I agree. I mean, it's been a funky year for sure, but there's been great that has come out of it.
Exactly.
It's wacky, but it is what you make out of it.
Oh, absolutely.
If you can see the good out of it, then
absolutely.
that's what you got to
do. Absolutely. And just your state matters so much in terms of what you're going to receive on a day-to-day basis and on a long-term basis. So if you are stressed, and you can literally just break this shit down. I've been reading a lot about kind of just the laws of life. Like, live this way, and, like, you're going to feel really, really good. And first off, your state is so important, like, where you're at. So, all right, like, how can I get my state to be the best place it can possibly be? Let me sweat. Let me feed myself good things. Let me then also surround myself by people who make me feel good. Let me start the day in a positive way. Let me start the day by journaling and reading instead of scrolling Instagram. Let me do a gratitude practice, right? Or, like, let me create some things that I'm looking forward to. There's, like, literal, like, bullet points in terms of things you can do. Obviously, unless, like, you're severely ill or something. But in terms of, I feel like I was in this place. I'm like, fuck, like, I'm anxious and I don't know why. Like, this is so annoying because, like, I was anxious and I really knew I had a good life. I knew I had a great life. Awesome family, went to a very good school. I had good friends. There's no reason. So kind of realizing now, like, where I was at, it's like, just change a couple things. Shake the snow globe. Make your life better. Do it. There's literal ways to do it. And it has to do with your mind, your body, and your soul.
That's so true.
1,000,000%. And then once you put yourself in that state through all these amazing things, phenomenal connections and making new friends and having awesome relationships with your friends and your family and having people who support you and love you, and losing some friends, because losing friends happens when you are growing. It's a fact. It's a fact. And I say that now with, like, so much love. Like, I'm so grateful for all the friends that I have lost because I do love them still. And I'm so grateful for, like, the memories and the role they played in my life. And I completely mean that. And going through specifically growth at a younger age, it can kind of feel, like, so negative when you're, like, losing friends in a sense. But it comes with the growth, and the growth is worth everything. It's worth absolutely everything. And once you allow yourself to be in this phenomenal state, essentially, that's when you can take the next step to be like, all right, so, like, if you're here, right, and then, like, you are taking care of yourself and you're doing all these awesome things, you can take yourself here, but then you're like, all right, now let's have fun with this. Like, let's be fucking successful as hell. Let's take this to the top. Like, let's get in touch with myself. Let's meditate. And from there, something I've been realizing lately is, like, the limit on how good you can feel is literally endless.
Wow, that's kind of crazy.
Isn't that insane?
I love that.
It's insane. The limit, like, because I have been just, this has been a very, very, like, beautiful 2 weeks for me or so. We'll talk more about this later, but it's been a very interesting and amazing past 2 weeks for me. And I literally just keep tapping into, like, fuck, like, I can feel this good.
Wow, I love that.
And it's just finding things specifically like fitness and health and meditation, because when you meditate, you take your brain to your mind and your soul, obviously, to a certain place that once you go there, you never really are the same. You're never really the same. It's neuroplasticity. So once you meditate and you kind of feel like these beautiful senses of joy and love, like, you can take that into the present moment.
It's so crazy.
And that was a lot, but, like, that I just I feel like it's so important.
It is. Wow. See, like, now you've transferred over that to me. I'm like, wow, I want to feel as great as I can feel. Like, I never thought of it like that. But you're so right. It's like, you feel the way you feel. Right. But if you've never felt something else before, you don't even know that exists.
But it's there. That next wall, that next ceiling is always there. And it's also so important to realize with new highs come new lows. Yeah. Because you can kind of feel this new, like, oh my God, I feel so good. I'm so excited about this. Or, oh, I love this so much. Or I'm really enjoying this part of myself. But then you're like, oh, like, will this not last forever? Or like,
yeah.
Because then the ego comes in and the fear comes in,
Yes.
and naturally you're like protective of yourself in a sense. But then also the ability to recognize those moments and knowing you're going to come back up to the other side of the mountain, the hill, it's very freeing.
And that's how you appreciate the highs.
Yes.
Because if everything's a high, you don't even recognize it's a high. So you have to have the lows so you can appreciate your highs. And also with the meditation, and I love how you talked about like that when you're in that zone. And it's just, even with coffee, I think, just go back to that conversation, I feel like coffee gives you focus. But like, is it focus that we need, or do we need to like be calm? You know, like, because we're always like, we gotta go here, like, we gotta focus. But it's like, maybe we just need a second to like be calm and be in that present moment and meditate, or, you know, lower the dose of the coffee so you can get into that zone, so you can take a step back and see things.
Absolutely. Because the caffeine can also kind of change your frequency in a sense that will make you a bit more outward on like, all right, what do I need to do? What do I need to get done? Versus like, how am I now?
Yeah.
What's going on now? So just recognizing that and really just being in touch with yourself is the shit. Being in touch with yourself is the shit.
And I miss coffee, don't get me wrong. I really miss coffee.
Yes.
Because I love that feeling. But as I've reflected on, like, well, this is actually okay. Like, okay, I'm a little more calm, and I can focus now that I'm calm. And I'm not thinking of a million things, so that too.
I want to ask you a question in terms of, we know that nutrition makes you feel phenomenal. We know that fitness makes you feel phenomenal. What else do you implement into your life that makes you feel good?
I've always been a writer. So for me, it's like writing. And if it's just letting the pen go and just whatever I'm thinking and writing it, it's been like, for me, like my stress reliever, and also just makes me feel better. Like I feel like when I was going through that really tough time in college, like it was like about 2 years of, I didn't know if I'd ever get out of this like phase. And I wrote that. And the only thing that ever made me feel good in those 2 years, not the only thing, but one of the things was writing. And so for me, that's my everything. And then I love reading. I've been, again, a little inconsistent with it, but like reading, writing are my favorite things, and drinking water.
I love. Want to just take a second?
Well,
This feels so good.
I
just want to chug. I just want to chug this so bad right now.
Like when people say they don't drink like enough water, I'm like, are you crazy?
My pee is literally always clear, always. Unless it's like after my pee.
Oh yeah.
Unless it's like after like a weekend night, that's a different story.
So mine was yellow today. That's why I'm like, I brought that big thing. I'm like, I need to drink. I'm gonna drink.
We need to drink a lot today.
I need to drink my water.
We'll have a hydration session after this. But you talk about writing, and I love writing as well. Do you use it more as a journaling aspect or a creative outlet?
I like will write on like random pieces of paper, and I don't need to keep them. So. No, I was just free. And and whenever I think of me thinking about what if someone saw this, I like try to dismiss that thought, because that's not what my writing's for. It's not for someone else to ever read. Like, I'm not going to show this to anybody. This is for me, and it's like whatever comes out. Like, I don't even know what I'm going to write.
Right.
Just letting it come out. And sometimes I'll type. But, like, there's nothing like writing.
So that's like more like a journaling aspect, like just a sense of releasing.
Yeah. And also getting me to focus, because I do struggle with that. So writing, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna write, and like I don't even know. I'm like, oh, I guess I am feeling this way, or I'm thinking this. Like it like allows me to do that, and I just love it. And sometimes I'll put like concentration music on, or like it's that kind of music on YouTube.
Oh my gosh, I listen to ADD concentration music all the time when I'm working. My boyfriend got me into it. It is so awesome. It's like 5 hours long.
Oh yeah, there's so long.
No commercials. I love it. It really helps me lock in, because I obviously have never been diagnosed with ADD, but I think anyone nowadays could use some help with focus, you know?
Oh yeah. I mean, we all kind of have it in some capacity. Is it 420 hertz or 430 hertz? It's basically the sound of like the universe. It's very calming. I listen to that a decent amount, and that's like sometimes what I'll put on my headphones and I will just write, because it's like very calming, and then when you take it off you're like, oh my gosh, like it's so different. So like honestly,
you're literally in a different realm, and that's why you're able to like release so much. That's healing as well, because you're releasing.
I would go on an interview or anything, I'd always like listen to that before Infinite Waters, which I was really into for a very long time, because of like his background music too was like that sound, and I'm like, oh, it just feels so good.
Oh, I just want to float right now.
Yeah, seriously? We should have like meditated before this. I would have loved that.
I kind of did. I got here late, but I just did like a little breathing. I want to get into it more for sure. Something that I want to start doing, because I do a lot of guided meditations, is just like focusing on the breath.
Oh my God.
Because when you focus on the breath, your thoughts will start to come in. And if you just continuously go back to the breath, so I was listening to something this summer, and it was about meditation. And it was like, meditating is a 3-step process. 1, you have your meditation. You're either doing a breathing exercise, you're either doing a guided meditation, or you're doing some form of yoga. You have your practice, right? So there's step 1, the practice. Step 2 is for you to get distracted from the practice. Step 2 is for some stupid ass thought to come in, some memory of yourself when you're 10 years old, or some person you're kind of angry at, or something you're anxious about. So step 2 is to take that thought, accept it, and to go back to the practice. So step 3 is to go back to the practice.
I like that.
So once you're back in the practice, then it's just that constant cycle. And obviously those time frames can vary as more you practice, but it was like a monk who was talking about this, which was pretty cool. And he was essentially saying that is the essence of meditating, and obviously the benefits of that will include going to deep places within yourself, within the universe, but then also allowing you to have this understanding that nobody is in control of their thoughts. And a lot of people, they act off of their thoughts, right? We can create these healthy thought patterns. We can start to train our brain in a sense, but once you kind of understand that no one is in charge of their ego, it kind of allows you to live your life in a much more peaceful way.
It allows you to recognize that that's a thing and accept it and move on from it.
Exactly. And you talk about journaling and just like writing. I was talking to one of my friends yesterday, and she was telling me how, and my boyfriend actually did this the same day. They both told me about them doing this. I thought that was crazy. They both recorded themselves. They were both like kind of a little frustrated about it and just talked. And my friend didn't listen back to it, but my boyfriend, I think, listened back to his. And I think that sometimes we're like, something's off like a little bit, like what is it? And then you go to your friends and you talk about it and you feel better, right?
Yeah.
So it's important to recognize that you have that power within yourself to release it, have that be journaling, have that be speaking, even I think just kind of taking a moment to be with your thoughts. It's so key. It's so key because there are blockages that can come from these little anxieties, and it doesn't have to be a big problem, but it's like recognizing it's there and doing what you can to kind of like untie that knot that's within you.
I actually used to do that, not very often, but I did a few times where I just like talked to my phone, like in the memos.
I've never done that.
And awesome. It was to like my friend. I don't know why, but it was like regarding my friend. I've never sent it to her, but yeah, it was really enjoyable. I should probably do that again. I actually forgot I did that.
We are picking up so many good habits because of this podcast right now. It feels really good.
I'm like ready
really
to go
excited.
back and like just start.
Well, the night we're about to have. Me and you need to ditch and just go sit on the beach.
I would be fine with that. I would love that.
Oh, I would too. Trust
me.
I so would love that. But we'll have that for sure. You know, and like, if whoever's listening to this, if you are like, I like to party, I like to go out, I like to live my life this way, you still can, you know?
I mean, I love to have like a good drink and let loose. I'm a huge fan of that.
I'm just so naturally outgoing too. Like I love connecting with people.
Same.
But I read something recently too, and it was like, creative people need time to be alone. And I think that everyone is creative in their own way.
Yeah.
And I think that the more you get in touch with your creativity, the more you're connecting to your purpose. 1,000,000%. And something that I've been realizing is through the books I'm reading, through travel, through the people I'm hanging out with, through kind of the experiences I'm having, I'm getting all this inspiration, right?
Yeah.
So if you have like this battery of like inspiration and just things I want to do this for the podcast, I want to make this content, I want to do some cool stuff with photography and putting new content out and who I want to get on the podcast, and I have all these ideas, right? But then I also am doing all these things still, going out, and you want to just fucking sit down and do it. And I'm just like at that point. Honestly.
Yeah, no, I am
so excited. And it's a great place to be.
Yeah.
I am so grateful for it.
That's amazing. I love the battery of inspiration thing. It's like, I love that.
It's just like, I'm fucking charged up right now. That's my point right now, for sure.
That.
So you are a badass, straight up. from the fitness to the content to the nutrition. What are your goals for like the next 3 to 5 years? Where do you see yourself?
It's a great question. So I'm actually at a place where like all the things we're talking about, like I'm starting to try to implement back because I'm trying to figure that out. I think it's really difficult to do that in some senses because I'm now at this point in my life and I have, I do online coaching, I do challenges, I do, I have sponsorships, I have all these cool things. I've started a brand and I'm at the point where it's like, wow, like where am I going to be in 5 years? Or like what can I do that I'm going to be really happy about and really enjoy and something that can live on past me? And that doesn't require me, but I can, well, it will in the beginning, but eventually doesn't need me to grow. And so that's where I'm at. So I'm thinking like really big and deep. And so I have like, me and my boyfriend actually had a session where we literally just like stripped away everything I thought that I had to do or was going to do or is expected of me and was like, okay, like, wow, I felt really good because I've attached to a lot of things. Like there's a brand that we're working on and it's like, well, what if that isn't the brand? And then it's like, wait a second, I can't let that go. We already put so much time in it, but I stripped it away and I said, wait, what if? Or what if it's not in the fitness space or the health space? Like, and it actually always comes back to that because it is a passion.
Because it will. But kind of thinking what if allows you to narrow down yes or no.
It's very freeing. So I'm at that point and I have some really cool ideas. So maybe next time I'm on the podcast, we can talk about it. But they're still very new, and I don't want to attach myself to them yet because I'm like, I think so. But whatever I do come out with, I want my passions to be in line with that, which is I want something that's eco-friendly, biodegradable. Like I don't want to just like slap anything together. Like it's gonna be very thoughtful.
Absolutely.
Because I just think it's so important, especially in like today's climate, to be one of those people that encourages that. So like one thing I've been really into is like the material hemp. I don't know if you've ever if you know much about it, but basically like hemp is extremely sustainable.
Yeah.
And
I think I've heard that.
Yeah, it's actually much more sustainable than cotton. And
really?
It requires way less water, and actually when you plant it, it like removes carbon emissions. Like it's like a healer.
Wow.
And it's been banned for so long in the States to grow it. And not even the smoking like hemp, like just hemp. Like hemp can build houses. It's so strong. It could do everything. Like you can use it for paper, a million things. Anything paper is used for, you can use with hemp too, and more. So it was banned probably because like the cannabis like process, and so we're really behind. The United States is really behind on hemp growth. And so now I believe, I'm not sure, I think mostly all states you can grow hemp, and I know other countries can, but like even for me to find distributors of hemp, it's really difficult, and it's going to be a little bit more of an uphill battle for me because it's not like I could just get like 100 units of this, or it's harder. So I'm willing to put that and make that happen. But even starting small for me, even if my tags are like like you can plant them or something, like I'll start small like that, but like the goal as I grow is to like include that as much as I can to like kind of lead in that space, because I just think it's so important, and the benefits of hemp is unbelievable. So like I know that will be a piece of my business in some sense.
That is so cool. I'm like, I love that. You want to change the world. You want to make the world a better place.
And it's like we can, and we just are so used to doing things one way, and it's okay. I mean, for one, cotton's fine, but it just requires a lot more water, and it's like, oh, well, there are alternatives. So like, for example, I just want that. And I don't know like exactly what, like I have so many ideas and thoughts.
It'll come.
Yeah.
It'll get closer. The fact that you even have that general idea is powerful.
Yeah.
Even so, something I've been doing lately is I'll wake up in the morning and I'll write, I am so happy and grateful now that, and it'll be like a goal that I have.
Oh, I love
I'm
that.
so happy and grateful now that I consistently create content that people love. That's one of mine right now.
Love that.
So even if you just put out there, I'm so happy and grateful now that I have a hemp-based company. Just start there. More and more. It'll get more and more specific. And, also, like I said, you'll get those subconscious ideas.
Yes.
Because it's a mix of gratitude for the future, but then also obviously manifesting, which is amazing.
It's the two together. Yes, absolutely. Like, that's like where I'm at in my life. So I have so many goals and so many things that get me really excited. I'm like, how do I incorporate my business with this? Like, for one thing, this isn't like a 3-year plan. This is like in the next 6 months. I really want to, and I plan on doing it.
You are doing it.
I am doing it.
I'm
doing it. In February, I'm doing it.
Yes.
With my boyfriend, we're going to rent an RV. And instead of paying rent in our apartment, it's like, why not just be on the road? So that's what we're going to do.
Can I visit you guys?
Say that.
Yes, that sounds so fun.
And yeah, so and there's a lot of ways we can. I want to do it with purpose. I don't want to just do it and just like I want to travel. Of course, it's a huge piece of it, but I want to include like a passion, a mission, and that's going to be like the brand. I also was like, I can even do like exercise classes and certain like pop-ups and work with other influencers, and there's so many avenues I can go about it, and I'm so excited. Like,
imagine the content you can make.
And it's like exciting content because it's content that makes me happy because it's like I'm doing something I want. And so for me, like that's like is like my biggest time. I was like, all right, I gotta get all my like eggs in line so like I can do the thing I really want to do. So that's like my big excitement. And yeah, maybe 6 months, maybe a year, and then probably buy a house. But I need to get that out of my system.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, for sure. I think travel is so important, and every time. Even, when I am, like, right now, I'm super inspired by I could travel. It changes my life. It changes my life. Like, it's a trip. Like, you don't come back the same.
You never do. And I haven't traveled in so long, and I miss it. It's such a, like you said, you never come back the same. You're always, like, more wiser, different perspectives. You meet different people. They change the way you think.
Exactly.
It's, like, such an important thing. Even, like, me and my boyfriend, we moved to Rhode Island together, and that was really just to get the taste of something new. And he's from Southern Mass. I'm from Revere originally. So when we were moving in together, we're like, okay, where are we going to move? And it was during the pandemic that we moved in together. Well, like last, basically September.
Yeah, same. God bless us.
So like these 2 years or whatever are so mixed up. I can't even like.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I'm like, was it this year?
Yeah.
But we moved around for that same reason of like the newness. Like, let's make new friends together. And it's been really cool. Like, we've met so many people, networked. We have a whole new group of friends that we didn't have before.
That's awesome.
And they're all like very cool, like interesting people. So it's been fun. But like, I'm excited for like that next adventure. So
I will have to come find you somewhere. I would love to. I love to move around. Like, I look for a reason to travel at least once a month. I love to. So if I don't know what your route is, but I would love to. I have a feeling you, and our boyfriends will get along as well, just because it's obvious. And I would bring this up, but we are crushing it. I would love to talk more about you and your boyfriend as well, because I think the power of working with the people that you love is so powerful, and that must be such a great environment. So I would definitely have to come find you. But I have one last question for you.
Okay.
And I actually want to make this a theme on the podcast, and you're going to be the first person I want to ask.
Oh,
so no pressure, but when it first comes to your mind, what do you think your purpose is?
Ooh.
And feel free to take a second. I'm going to have a sip of water. And it can be specific, it can be super broad. Just what comes to like your heart and you hear that?
I think I feel the best when I'm helping someone or helping people in general. I think that's like the most fulfilling thing. It's like, I would say that.
I love that.
How about you?
So, to be completely honest with you, I believe that everyone's purpose in a sense is to help others, right? So it's just a matter of how are you doing that, right? So for me, and also the more you help others, the more you help yourself.
Absolutely.
So I believe my purpose is to, I've journaled about this a couple times. It's hard to like put it into specific words, but I believe my purpose is to connect with others and bring the best out of other people.
I love that.
And then also share the best of other people
Wow.
with other people.
I love that. That's such a good one.
Thank you. Thank you.
That is so
and
special.
It's also important to realize that your purpose can change from time to time over your life, but at this moment, I'm really, I love people. I've always loved. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I cry all the time. I love people so much. And it was to the point where I almost loved people like more than I was loving myself, right?
Wow, yeah.
So now I'm loving myself and I'm able to love everyone else even better.
I love that.
So
that's so special.
I have found that the more I get close to other people and help other people, have it be my friends or my family or whomever, the better I feel as well.
So true.
The more I get to know myself. But it's really that balance of helping others and then also helping yourself so you can then also help others.
It's
goes
so important to focus
over.
on you so you can show up as your best self.
Exactly.
But I feel the same as you. I love that though. Beautifully said.
Thank you so much. And I loved hearing absolutely everything you had to say. This has been one of my favorite podcasts that I've done so far.
Oh my God, I love it. Big 10 too.
Yes, so thank you so much. I'm so excited to see everything you do in the future. I'm so excited to work with you in the future.
I'm so excited.
So thank you from the bottom of my heart. You are an absolute gem. Thank you for coming on.
Oh, thank you so much. And let's have a freaking amazing
Let's
birthday.
have a night, baby.
Woo!